Do you want the truth? Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news? Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, just don't unfriend me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up on the facts with truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's stuff.
Timer's a little bit off, didn't work. What's going on? Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys can hear me 5x5. I think volume is good. Let me know if it's not. See if I can turn it up just a bit. Hopefully be able to see your comments. Actually, no. Volume's gonna suck right now because all right, how about that? Is that better? Everyone hear me okay? 5x5? Perfect. Well, good morning. I've got quite the little setup going on here. My coffee floats. That's what happens when you buy Don't Unfriend Me coffee, folks. It actually floats. Good stuff. Let's see. Good morning, Deborah. Good morning, Paul. Morning, Lolly. You know, it's always nice when Amazon loves you so much that they get you overnight package delivery. So I ordered a new mic, a lapel mic down here, and this stand, and it's a computer stand, enough for my mouse, my computer, and my coffee cup, and works great. I can put it anywhere in the house. So this is the living room slash dining room slash rec room. 3 rooms combined on the property and the house. And this is where Olivia does her piano playing. I do my crafts. Whenever I do that, my figurines, painting miniatures and things like that. I don't have any time to do that. I haven't done it in years. But yeah, this is the room. It's got a nice bay window and it gives some good light. So here's the room today. I will be doing it outside, but only when I get out at 9 o'clock. It's too damn hot and it's too damn bright, and I don't want to wear sunglasses. So I've decided on a time of 9 o'clock starting right now for the show. We're just going to start some morning shows, drink some coffee, talk a little bit about what's going on. There's never going to be an agenda, honestly. It's just going to be whatever comes to mind, and however long that is. Sometimes I'm sure it can be 15, 20 minutes. Other times it'll be a couple hours. It just depends on what is going on with the news of the day. So I guess I wanted to start off with everybody. Good morning, Lewis, James. What's up from Vermont? I didn't know you're from Vermont, James. Desiree, hello. Mary, good morning. Barbara, hi, Tammy. Good morning, Tamara Hines. You didn't deliver my pancakes yesterday. I just wanted to let you know. Your granddaughter has reached out to me several times. Tell her I will get back to her as soon as I can. She needs a Mac for school. I don't know if it's going to happen. All the Macs, because Ethan is now 10 years old, he is using the other Mac that we were using. So a lot of people are wondering, and I'm getting a couple texts on the phone, and they're asking about the video effects. So this is center stage, and I can turn this on or off, but this ultimately keeps the camera focused, and I can turn it off portrait mode, which lets you see behind me. And then the studio light, which I can turn off too, it essentially darkens the background, and it's kind of a cool feature. And it really is cool for podcasters, is because the iPhone is in low power mode and it's producing 4K resolution video, and I don't need to haul a webcam. So this entire thing weighs about 12 pounds and allows me to pretty much record anywhere that my little heart desires. Let's go ahead and get some comments, find out what's going on with everybody, and go from there. Matt, hello. Karen, hello. Lolly. Alexandra, good morning. Nice to be here in the morning. Yeah, it is. Love watching you. Well, I get it. I do it all the time. Just find myself, there's a mirror right here. So, it's all, just staring whenever I can. So a lot of people ask me, they're like, man, are you a dork? Yes, I'm a dork. There's my figurines and Hot Toys collection with all my painted figurines right there in this chest. So like I said, I get it. I completely get it. See a mirror and I can't just stop it looking. That's the way it is. The leaf peepers are out in force up here in New England. The leaf peepers. What the hell is a leaf peeper? James, educate me. Come on, recenter. We're going to get to a topic, folks. I just got to get this thing dialed in. There we go. All right, that worked. Okay, going back to comments. Good morning, Connie. Does everyone have coffee? Am I the only one? I know it's a little late in the morning, but coffee is great at any time of the day. Yenny, the cat, wants to join in the conversation. Like the hate and shirt. Like the hate and shirt. Hat! The hat and shirt, yes. Captain America. This was bought, I don't remember who got this for me. I think one of my kids did. And I always like, no, that's not it. I had one of my my Apple executive leaders tell me in one of my feedback reviews that you have to stop running around like you're Captain America all the time. And you're not going to be able to save everybody, and you're not going to be able to stop every customer from having a bad conversation with one of your people. And I was known for a lot of things, but not defending my people was certainly not one of them. And there's a lot of bad, but that was one of the goods. But anyway, my boss put that in the feedback, and it just kind of became a nickname. So it was Cap all the time. That was it. And so it was kind of a knock with the other Apple people, but the employees kind of seemed to embrace it. And one of my managers bought me the hat, and it just stuck with me. So there it is. Like the hat and the shirt. Shirt was made by and designed by moi. Little Colorado Avalanche throwback, and it's officially a Don't Unfriend Me shirt. Go figure. So let's see what else we got. We were there last week a little early. First time on your live. Welcome, Chris. I've seen you post on the site before. Chris Johnson. Whoa, what's up with the pink? Isn't that when we did the show in neon? Yeah, I think it was. I gotta fix that. That's horrendous. Let's go with a good white on black. Let's see. Edit background. Can I do an animation? Oh, holy moly. Unbelievable. Hold on. We're going to get this thing rocking. Watch this. This is just... Ecamm is just raising their game. I can put a border on it, too. Oh, let's put a border on this thing. Hold on. Let's see. What color should we do? Let's go red, white, and blue. Whoa, that's too big. That's what she said. All right. Oh, I can even do a color gradient. Now this is just getting out of hand. I can even do a red and blue. Folks, I may not come back on. I just might be doing this. Look at that drama. Oh, that border needs to be a little bit thicker. All right, hold on. We're gonna get this. See, this is what happens when you've got ADD. Oh, I can even change the font. Oh, dude, forget about it. We're gonna be here all day. Hold on. American Captain. That's the one we want. That one's the good one. There it is. Bam. It's okay. Border. You guys, this is still a test phase, so that's the way this works. Okay. 26, Let's go to 36 size font. Let's go with a nice clean font. Yes. Babos new, regular. Go down to a size 24 and hit save. That's a little small. That's what she said. All right, there it is. Look at that, Chris Johnson. You even get called out. Does it need a shadow? It needs a shadow, Chris. It's just, this is what happens when you've got complete ADD. There we go. Shadow, much better. Border, a little bit thicker. Just a touch, not too much. There we go. All right, there it is, Chris Johnson. You are on Candid Camera. Look at that. Look at that beautiful box of wonderfulness. Hello, first time on your live. Is that a good spot for it? I think it is. There it is. Fellow nerds unite. Yes, yes. Chris gets 2 comments in a row. Mike Blankman says, I love you, Matt. Go buy something. Just kidding. Big time here in New York, too. All the trees are changing. Isn't that true? Alexandra says. Do we like the font? I mean, I like the box. But is the font where it's at? I don't think so. I don't think it's where I want it to be. Got to change the font. This is the problem with options. Let's see. Just a clean, simple. You know what? Verdania it is. No, maybe Tahoma. No, that's not the one. I mean, we'll find it. We're just going to keep going through it until we find the font that I like. Because why? Oh, I know what we need. Everyone's like, Matt is complete ADD this morning. Yes, I am. Okay, almost done. We're going to go Avenir next, and we're going to do a light oblique. Nope, light font. Nope. We're going to go oblique. Nope. We're going to go medium. 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 Hit save. Shrink the box a little bit. All right. I think that's better. There we go. Big time here in New York, too. All trees are changing. Thanks, everybody, for sticking with me through this. We got a lot of people on. What's up, Jason? Good to see you. Jason, I got your messages, man. I'm not ignoring you. I'm a busy dude. I'm working it out. I'll get to you, I promise. Good morning, Sherry. Elaine, good morning. Jazzy's in the house. Hey, Matt, if I want to order a hoodie, how should I do that? I'm from the Netherlands. Real simple. I have international shipping. Just go online and choose the international shipping. It will cost you an arm and a leg, but the good news is the hoodies. The hoodies are all fairly well priced. So go on over there, international shipping. Let me know if you have any problems. We are losing you, Matt. Come back. You're going into computer geek mode. Well, listen, we ran the test yesterday, so I got to fine tune. But I like the fact that we can add comments. I think that's cool. And they look good. Font, maybe not all uppercase, just a suggestion. I see, Desiree, you and me. We're on the same, that's it. Now if I could just get this thing to, oh, look at that. So I can make people's profile pic bigger. Now that's important because I like to make fun of people who are being dorks and I don't want to expand their picture. That works perfect. Our wonderful governor is banning charcoal. And propane for grills yesterday. It was wood stoves. We live in the mountains. Our state is so blue, we glow. Alexandra, where are you at? That's incredible. Propane is a very clean burning gas. Why would you ban propane? I guess I could understand charcoal, but is there really that much charcoal briquette burning in the United States that it's doing what? Absolutely nothing to the ozone, to the atmosphere, to CO2 levels? Make the font the same size for the name and comment. Dude, okay. You know what? We've only got so much time. It's it doesn't work that way. That's not the way this works. See, and the problem is that we get inconsistencies because some people write a bunch and other people write a little. Let me see. I'm going to go see text margin. There's a little bit of text margin. We got the motion, cut out text, rotation, blend mode. Now I can't do the, well, maybe I can. I mean, maybe. Let's see. Can I bold that? I guess I can. All right, so we're going to go ahead and make this. Remember, I was done. And then somebody came in and made a suggestion. Okay, let's do heavy. And let's make that a little smaller. Okay, save. There we go. There. The name's bold. It's small, but the text is bigger. There you go. I don't want to hear any complaints. That looks good. See? Elaine likes it. I'm done screwing around with it. We're not doing it anymore. Yeah, it takes a little bit, folks. You went complete geek mode, never go complete geek mode. Yeah, that's true. Did you see that meme where it was never go complete Fetterman? You never go complete Fetterman, man. Valley Springs, California. I haven't been there in years. Yeah, I know. I know Valley Springs. Yeah. I'm from Bakersfield, murder capital of California. By the way, guess who else is from there? That would be McCarthy. Yep. I have a feeling he's going to be spending some time there. These comments are supposed to leave, but they're not dropping off. We'll fix it later. I'm in the printing biz. Desiree says, well, I'm a graphic designer, so I'm the same way. It's got to be perfect. That's the way it is. Sitting outside my car waiting for my doctor's appointment. Sherry, good luck with that. We do grill a lot, but come on. We grill almost every night. And I just can't imagine that somebody is so concerned about charcoal and propane that they've got to ban it. But this is what liberals listen. If you're happy, they're going to take it away from you. It's just the way it is. You can't be happy. You have to be miserable. What webcast software are you using? I'm using Ecamm, Ecamm. It's a great product. Can multi-stream to multiple platforms, full studio, and I can introduce movie clips, split screen, multiple people. If you want to call into the show, it is open. If anybody wants to come in. So more than welcome to do that. Let me go ahead and put this on. Get this window closed here. But yeah, you want to come on. More than welcome to come on. But yeah, it's got everything. It's an amazing piece of software. Ecamm. And if I didn't get to your comment and I passed over, it's not because I don't care about you. It's just because I go to every few. So if it doesn't stand out, I'll do it again. He must live in Cali. People are nuts out here. Yeah, well, I know. I lived there for most of my life. I was there 18 years in Ventura, California. I spent some time in San Diego/Coronado for about a year and a half. And then I moved to a bunch of different places. New Mexico, Arizona, and then wound up going back to California. So I know it well. Almost 24 years in California. I like the big names on the comments. Okay. I'll increase it just a little. But then we're done. We're not doing this anymore. Should I do all caps? Ooh, that is a possibility. No, we're not going to do it. I'm just going to increase the size just a little bit. Nah, that's too big. Can't do it. We got to do 20. Come on, Mike. You're making my life a miserable hell. That's all you get. That's it. Zoom in. Oliver Anthony, give a listen. I'm well aware. I had a post go viral in regards to Oliver Anthony. It had 12 million views. So I was one of the people who celebrated his early success, and I would like to think contributed to some of his growth in the United States. You don't impact 12 million people and not make a dent in somebody's career. So I'd like to think that if he converted just 1% of those people to iTunes, that's a lot of money. Too bad I didn't get any royalties. The check, make it out to Matt Spear, Virginia. I have Ecamm Live 2, still learning it. Great software. John, if you need any help with it, please let me know. I know it well. I've been using it since they've come out, and I'm pretty good at it. So if you need any help, let me know as I try to figure out how long these comments are going to stay up on the screen. But we'll do it later. I know they're supposed to not last this long. Options. Sorry, folks. Got to figure this out. All right. Pretty soon they will ban pumpkins. Why would they ban pumpkins? Let me know. Matt, your show's amazing. You always have it all great, all set up. Thanks. I try. I like the standing. I don't like sitting down. I'm not a sitting down type of guy. Like, that's why I can't stand driving anymore. First of all, 3 million miles in airplanes and over 1 million miles in vehicles over my retail career. I can't stand sitting down and driving anymore. It used to relax me. I could go all the way across country, drive for 24, 36 hours straight. No problem, no rest. I mean, I have to pee or eat. But that was it. No sleep, Now, I can't even drive to the grocery store without literally just anxiety. I hate it. Can't stand it. I don't know why. I have glasses for everything, can see anything. See, I've got glasses too, but I don't wear them on the show because I don't like to. So I've got to make sure that things are up close otherwise. Now, I could hit a flea at 500 yards and I can read all day long like this. It's my mid-range, only from about 2 feet to 10 feet. So watching TV, if I don't have glasses, it hurts. And it doesn't make any sense because my vision's perfect. It's just the way my eyes are. It doesn't do well. I know where you live. I'm talking about the person that couldn't use propane living out in California because Newsom has lost his mind. Well, did Newsom ever have it? That's the real question. I've got to get rid of these, the time frame that these chats stay open. I got to remember where it's at. It's in, hold on. Remember, we're still in test phase here, folks. So I think it's going to be in preferences. Yeah, it's going to be in preferences. Let's figure it out. Preferences. It's not under account. It's stream, maybe. Yeah, stream size. Got that. Recording, destinations, video, audio, interview. Screen sharing, shortcuts, remote control. That's interesting. It should be right here. Aha, got it. Watch this. There it is. Okay. So now if we put up a comment, yeah, I have nephews and nieces in California. They aren't happy out there. I'll reach out when I hit a tough spot. Yeah, let me know. I don't think anybody's happy out in California. I hate even going into town. People are miserable. Isn't that the truth? And it's not everybody, because there's some really great red cities, and there's actually some strong blue cities. I'm but there's a lot of shitty places in California. The powers that be are trying to make it hard for you to cook anything, take away gas stoves, charcoal, and propane, and then they feel it cuts off electricity. You can use firewood until that gets cut off. Yeah, firewood and cooking depends on what type of wood, I guess. Drunk Nancy got booted out of her office. Well, I guess it's a good way to segue into some political conversation. So yeah, the interim speaker, who was very angry. I wish he would get angry about $32 trillion in debt and $2.2 trillion over budget. But I guess he got upset because Kevin McCarthy was ousted as speaker and slammed his gavel down to adjourn the vote and told Nancy Pelosi to vacate her hideaway office, which Speaker has two offices. The main office, which you saw with J6, and then on the other side of the building, another office to go ahead and work if she needs to do a quick something or other, to get on the computer, check an email, print something out, have a quick meeting, whatever it would be, without having to walk that 7 to 10 minutes from one side to another. Well, they kicked her ass out of that. And I guess she's been in there since McCarthy got speaker. So it's interesting. So she's been kicked out of that. Share all your shows, Matt. Thanks, Stacy. By the way, hello from Indiana. Still a red state, thank God. Yes, it is. The Big Bang Theory. Thought she was ousted. She still has an office. Well, she had her office. She just never gave it up. And that would be typical for Nancy Pelosi. Anything to retain some sort of power. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the. And I already know. I already know I'm late this morning, so this isn't going to be a huge show. I just wanted to get on and try it and get the rig set up and see how everything was working. And right now, dare I say, it's good. I can do it anywhere. I can go over a neighbor's house. I can go outside. I can take this on the road. I can do an interview with somebody else, and this works perfect. So as long as I've got a good light source, this is easy. So I guess this morning my focus is looking at the GOP, and I want to talk about, since 2015, the level of professionalism or level of conversation in this country has lowered and lessened. And, I understand memery. I get it. I understand one-liners and practical jokes. And I think it's a big part of my site and something that I absolutely participate in regularly. I love it. I love making fun of politicians. I love making fun of the left and the woke brigade. I've always been that way. And it doesn't matter what side of the party it is, but there is a level of watered down intellect in Washington, D.C. right now. And you look at people like Matt Gaetz and you go, wow, he's smart. And he is. You look at Ted Cruz, he's smart. Sure. Dan Crenshaw, he's smart. You look at Lindsey Graham, he's a smart guy. Massey, smart. Mitch McConnell, smart. Well, used to be. They have a level of at least the ability to articulate themselves, unlike Fetterman. But even Ilhan Omar, she's actually a very decent speaker. AOC is just pretty, so she gets away with everything, but she's pretty much dumb as a bag of rocks. Lauren Boebert gets away because she's pretty, but she's dumb as a bag of rocks. And I've got no problem just being honest and saying it. I don't mind the jokes. I don't mind the sites that do it. I don't mind the Young Turks. I don't mind Bill Maher. I don't mind Alex Jones or Ben Shapiro or Joe Rogan or Russell Brand or anybody else or the late night hosts who make a living on trashing Trump or trashing the other side. None of that bothers me. What bothers me is the level of tomfoolery and overall narcissistic, juvenile thought process that takes place in Washington, D.C. And I will be completely honest with you. I am no longer a Republican. After yesterday, fuck them. Pardon my French. I'm no longer interested in the Republican Party in any way, shape, or form. They are quintessential clowns. Every one of them. They're clowns. The hardlining GOP right with guys like Gaetz, Boebert, supposedly MTG, who didn't even vote, by the way. I told you, she's a McCarthy. MTG is not MAGA at all. And you can sit here and tell me she is. You can't show me any reason why she is. She has shown no loyalty to Donald Trump at all. She has showed unabashed loyalty to Kevin McCarthy. And yesterday did not vote to out him. Either did Lauren Boebert. So when you guys want to tell me, well, MAGA, no. That's not what this is about. It's not about the GOP. It's not about the hard right. It's not about moderates. It's not about libertarians or Democrats or liberals or socialist progressives or oligarchs or monarchies or egalitarian style governments. It's not even about tyrannical rule. It's about the people. You're not being represented. Who feels represented? Who feels represented when Lauren Boebert decides to go ahead and get felt up in a theater, but then go ahead and question, children and what they're learning in school, but then setting an example like that? Should she live her life? Sure. Should she be able to go ahead and get handy in a theater with a guy? Yeah, of course she should. In fact, please do it while you're sitting next to me. But what you don't get to do is sit there and preach to other people about a higher level of standard, of government, of citizenry, of service, and then on the other side of your mouth, give your guy a hand job in a movie theater. But you just don't get to do it. It's not just her. You can look at Raskin on the Democrat side, who gets diagnosed with cancer, which is a horrible thing, and it's a horrible shame. And I wish him the best. Anybody who gets cancer, I'm not going to pick on them or try to make fun of them. But what I am going to say is you don't get to sit here and talk out of the side of your mouth when you wear a do-rag on your head and you still have your hair. You're not wearing it. Men can go bald without fear. There's women who are in office right now who have no hair, who are not wearing do-rags. Most cancer patients put a rag on their head for a couple of reasons. One is because of intermittent hair loss or complete hair loss due to chemotherapy and the drugs that they give you and radiation treatment. Also, you can have blistering depending upon what type of cancer you have. So you cover it up. Raskin has a full head of hair. Raskin wears that do-rag just to get attention. Just like when 32 members of the House and Senate decided to wear African scarves and take a knee spaced 6 feet apart for social fucking distancing to get a photo op. Clowns. Clowns. It's not just that. When you've got people showing pictures of Hunter Biden blurred out just to get it out there with no process in place but just to make a point, and do it in a way that isn't focused on what the conversation's about, even though Hunter Biden needs to be held accountable, the U.S. Senate and the House of Representatives and the Oversight Committee have absolutely 100%, with no equivocation, no responsibility over citizens of the United States. And although they can subpoena, Hunter Biden wasn't there that day. No reason to do it, but just to score political points. When you have Al Franken take photographs grabbing women's breasts and reporters and military people who are asleep and use it as a joke, but then scream about the Me Too movement, but have another 8 allegations come out, and somehow Lauren Boebert does what she does, and Al Franken now is the victim, and although Democrats removed him, the only reason they did was to go ahead and support the Me Too movement so they didn't sound like hypocrites when they challenged and went after Donald Trump over Stormy Daniels. So they have him removed. That's a clown act. When you go ahead and you say you were in the building for January 6th, Democrat, and you weren't in the building January 6th, Democrat, and you said you hid for your life as you cried, but you weren't even in the building, you're a clown. When you pull a fire alarm and pretend as a principal, as a congressman, as a person who has conducted and been responsible for the fire safety plan at your school, and you pull a fire alarm during a vote, you're a fucking clown. You're a fucking clown. When you go on national TV, on Fox News, and you go on there and say, well, I'm morally superior because I don't take money from political action committees. I don't take money from big donors. Well, that's wonderful. Congratulations on doing what we sent you to Washington to do, Matt Gaetz. But why are you sending out thousands upon thousands of emails to Trump's contact list begging for donations for something that you probably shouldn't have done? Because here's the problem. Not only are you making yourself look like clowns, you're making us look like clowns for supporting you. Does anyone know who to support anymore? Who do you support? If you're a Republican, who represents us in the House? List them right now. I want to see everybody's thoughts. All right, Rocky, hold on. I can't hear you. I'm going to be able to hear you in a second. Rocky, give me a test when I bring you in. See if you can hear me. And I'll see if I can hear you. One sec. I haven't done it on this computer. Let's see. Got Rocky. All right, Rocky. Ooh, you got a mic and a setup. Dude, I love this. This guy actually knows what he's talking about. We'll see. Or he hates my show. We'll find out real quick. Rocky, what do you want to talk about?
Don't hate your show by any means. I don't. I do not make a habit of listening to and following people that I hate. I know some people do that, but it seems to me to be a very sad existence.
Fair enough.
But I like your show. I watch regularly when you do like the call-in shows and stuff with the whole crew in the studio.
Nice.
And this particularly got me Well, it's safe to say, I guess, fired up a little bit in regards to, the stuff that you're discussing. And it really makes you wonder when you're looking at a situation like this, as far as like, who is it that is even necessarily benefiting when you look at it from time to time? It makes no sense whatsoever why one side would be saying this and that, and the other side would be like, yeah, no, we agree with you, or we don't agree with you. And it's like, well, how the heck do you even understand necessarily what it is that they mean and what their expectations are in regards to all of it? And obviously it's making us feel very fired up about it, and we don't necessarily.
Well, let's get into specifics. Like, for you,
yes, agree.
Okay, so what are we specifically talking about? Is it a person? Is it an ideology? Is it a trend in politics? What's driving you crazy?
Well, it's
and are we? Yeah, hold on real quick. Anyone, let me know. Are we getting echo? Are we 5x5? Can you guys hear Rocky? Let me see.
By the way, I just checked in on it tech-wise, and it's all good. The
all
tech
right,
sounds
so go ahead and answer me, because this is what I've been looking for. I love this. I love the fact you called in. So tell me, what are you thinking? What is it that's triggering? Not triggering you, but you get my point. What's saying, hey, something's in my head is not right. I agree or disagree, and I'll let you talk.
I'm not triggered. The wokes are triggered. It's not.
Yeah, I know, but we understand the meaning of it, right? It's negative connotation, but you do get triggered by things. I get triggered all the time by stupidity.
Yeah,
so go ahead.
I think of a trigger of a gun. I'm a gun owner and a gun user. But I mean, as far as this whole thing with the Speaker of the House goes, and with this whole debacle, I guess, so to speak, in regards to who's gonna come out when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, we're all looking for the same thing. And if we're all looking for the same thing, then how the heck are we all coming at it from different ways and ways about it? And it doesn't really make sense to me as far as how you're getting so fired up when it comes to this and that. And it's like, well, okay, so he's wrong and he's right. Well then how the heck is he right and he's wrong? Well, how the heck does he go from this way to that way? And how the heck does one did it in this and one and icon and buy large, high, buy low, sell high, and as far as the economy goes.
Well, let's just talk about this. Who do you put in as speaker? What's the plan?
Oh, that's a bag of worms, to say the least. To speak. Well, I put in as a speaker. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, Donald J. Trump, please.
Donald J. Trump can't be the speaker.
Oh.
Do you know why?
No. But
Article 2.
That makes me mad.
Why do
we live in a system where all of a sudden the number one best guy for the job can't be the guy? Is this woke stuff again? It has to be somebody who's
it's called the law. It's called the Constitution of the United States.
Oh, so now they're making it a law that a white man can't be the speaker?
Yeah, you're done, dude. I'm going to kick you. If you're going to be
this
a dick,
woke.
You're going to get kicked.
I'm not being a dick. I'm fired up.
You're not fired. You're talking nonsense. This has nothing to do with color.
I'm talking, yes, because it is nonsense. That's how you talk about nonsense.
Well,
yes, it is.
Rocky.
In regards to what, though? What do we mean when
you're not going to troll the show, bro?
Excuse me?
You're not going to troll the show. Where are you? You've called in before. This isn't your first time.
How do you know?
Well, because I'm not an idiot. But you can go ahead and say it's all about being white. But if you read the Constitution, okay, I'm going to mute you because you won't shut the fuck up. So, since you won't listen, Article 2 says that if you are under indictment in any way, shape, or form or have any felonies, you cannot actually be a part of the speakership. So it's in the Constitution of the United States. So I don't care about if he's white. I don't care about if he's a former president. I don't care about any of that. It's called the law. And if you don't like the law, then it's real simple. You need a 3/4 majority to change the Constitution of the United States. They need to propose an amendment to allow him to be speaker. Otherwise, he can't be speaker. So I've been telling people for 2.5 years, there's not a fucking chance that Donald Trump is going to be the Speaker of the House. He doesn't fucking want it. He wants to be President of the United States, and that's where we should have him do. Now I'll unmute you and let you talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, I noticed. I was just listening while you're saying that. You got like there's a little sound that's happening on there that I can hear.
We've done that before too. So, all right, well, Rocky's gone. Glad he tried to call in. That's not the first time. Rocky called in and did a prank that I thought was kind of funny. This was about 1 year and 2 months ago. His name's not Rocky. I don't remember what his name is. But he had reached out and sent me a text and said, hey, are you coming on live? And of course, that sent signals in my head. that he was going to go ahead and try to troll the show. And then that night, very well, he did. So I knew who he was. And what they did is they came on and they called in. They said, hey, there's a little ting in the show. And of course, me being an audio guy, I tried to fix it. And then realized he was clowning the show. And then I sent him a text, of course, not giving me any props, that I figured out who he was out of probably 120,000 followers at that point. But this is the thing. If you're going to call into the show and you want to clown around, that's fine. There's no problem with that. But you're part of the problem because you're a clown. You're just like the GOP, is that you have no vision for America. You have no idea what you're looking for. The only answer that you have is Donald Trump, which really doesn't make any sense, because in 4 years, 6 years, no matter what happens, Donald Trump is going to be out of politics. So you're not a Republican, you're not an independent, you don't know anything about the Constitution, and all you're trying to do is say that Trump is the answer. But Trump isn't the answer, because if Trump was the answer, why would we still be talking about the swamp? Donald Trump had both branches of Congress. He had a mandate. He could have done anything he wanted. And he did amazing things. But I don't see the swamp gone. And you can make all the excuses that you want, but it wasn't completed. Nothing was completed when it came to the swamp. Nothing about term limits, nothing about Citizens United, nothing about campaign contributions, nothing about the FEC, nothing about dark money. None of those things were addressed. So you can sit here and say that Donald Trump is an amazing president and did amazing things, and he certainly did, but for you to sit here and pretend that he is the only answer, or that he wants the Speaker of the House, the problem with your thought process, although cute and funny, and may get your followers riled up because that's the type of comedy that they like, and that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. You got to make a buck, and if that's how you want to make a buck, is come on and troll the show, cool, no problem. Everyone's got to do what they got to do. Some people are male prostitutes. You want to prostitute your intellect in a different way. That's fine. However you want to do it. The problem I have is that you're selling your people who are listening to you a lie. It's not that Trump couldn't be Speaker if the stars aligned. It's not that Trump couldn't try to be Speaker and balance the indictments and the court cases he has, and running for a national election for President of the United States, which is a full-time job, 16 hours a day. If you guys don't remember in 16, if you didn't remember what happened in 2020, he was on the road all day long. He was hitting 4 states, 5 states. I think he had a record, if I'm not mistaken, by hitting 6 states in one day. Do you really believe he can be Speaker of the House too and be effective? Do you really think they have the votes to make Donald Trump the Speaker of the House? Because they don't. Because there are more than 6 Republicans who will say no. But not only that, he can't. Because he doesn't qualify. Because he is under indictment. And that is one of the qualifications. And if you would like me to go ahead and open up the Constitution and read it to you, I most certainly will. But Donald Trump will not be Speaker. Now, will he be Speaker 10 years from now, 5 years from now? Maybe, I don't know. But for this Congress, for this class, there is not a snowball's chance in hell, because every single case and indictment would need to be expunged with extreme prejudice from every single judge. That's multiple states, Georgia, New York, Florida, etc. Multiple cases. That would all have to happen in the next 45 to 60 days, because there's no way that we're going to put the Joe Biden investigation on hold that long. And there's not a chance in hell that it's going to take that long to find a Speaker, because GOP doesn't want to look inept. And there's not a chance in hell that all those indictments are going to be waived off. Then you've got to get past the fact that he's running for election, and you've got to go ahead and get the votes. Donald Trump will never be Speaker. I'm telling you right now. I am 100% confident, beyond any equivocation or any doubt. I will put my podcast on the line. You can have the keys to the show. I will hand it over to you if I'm wrong. There's not a chance. And it's not about agreeing with me or disagreeing with me. There's just absolutely no chance. That's it. It's impossible. It's not going to happen. Okay? So let's stop pretending that that's going to happen. Second, if you want to call into the show, call into the show. Have a conversation, right? But actually try to have a conversation centered around intellect, or have a conversation centered around facts, not just trying to get clicks. But yeah, I've seen that guy before. But how desperate must you become? How desperate is your show that you got to call a low-level podcast with 60 to 100 people on it, which honestly isn't that bad compared to most people's shows. I see people's shows every morning. Trust me when I say this. Benny has an incredible audience, massive, because that's what he does. He does live shows, and he's on it, and he's right there with the Fox News crowd. And he does a good job. But if you look at Ben, if you look at Candace Owens, I think Candace Owens had a post last night. I think it was 250,000 views. She had 12 comments on it. So, you know what? It's tough. You market share on Facebook, market share on YouTube and Rumble, it is a difficult thing. And if you can capture 0.0002% of the overall traffic on Facebook, you're desperate must you to come on here to try to troll, have me not recognize in just a matter of seconds who you are. My viewers remember who you are. It's pretty sad because you've got a setup, you've got a voice, you have confidence, but you can't even put two sentences together. I would like to see that guy use that footage, how he couldn't even get out in any way, shape, or form when you buy low and sell high. He couldn't get out the statement, buy low and sell high. He tried for like 15, 20 seconds to get the statement out, and it finally just dribbled out of his mouth. Put that on your site. I'm sure it'll get a lot of clicks. All right. Your production quality is an anomaly for your size. You will get there. Well, I think, listen, my goal isn't to get to 20 million people. That's not my goal. My goal for this show is pretty simple. It's to have an interactive base. It's to increase the quality of conversation in this country. It's to call out stupidity, because I think it needs to be done with extreme prejudice, and to provide. You know, I don't do this, and I tried to do this. I tried to do this show and work full time as a VP, and it was great. And I dedicated most of my time, 65, 70 hours a week to the job. And then I would give this show 20, 25. I mean, it's a lot of hours. And then when I finally left Valor, I had a choice to make. I recognized the money coming in was strong. It wasn't great. It wasn't earth-shattering. It wasn't even close to what I was making. And I've seen a trend where the advertising and the rights manager and the overall interaction value is paying the bills, paying the house payment, it's paying for my kids, taking care of my family. It's paying for the investment I've made into the show. So if I can make a living doing this, that's an ancillary benefit. This became a hobby, which turned into more of a cause and a focus of how I wanted to contribute back to the political dialogue in this conversation and discourse. But my definition for success isn't turning this into a 20 million person show, because I already feel that we have been successful. Now for next quarter, I've got some goals that I'm trying to achieve. And if those are achieved, then it's successful again. People think that this is easy. People think this is an overnight success. I challenge you to do it. I challenge you to try. But see, it's a lot easier to come in and try to break down somebody else's work than produce your own. And we have a lot of people like that. You guys may have seen the Steve, oh God, what is Steve's name? The comedian who came on and started trolling my site and lasted 6 comments before he popped smoke because he could not get me to react. And all I did was hit him with facts. And every time he put something down, Steve Hottinger, he's a fairly well-known comedian. And he's an insult comic. Redhead, glasses. He's a very smart guy. I actually got to watch one of his videos yesterday. I freaking loved it. It was about PETA. And how PETA in Virginia has like a 95% kill rate on their animals. And he's going after PETA. And it was very smart ass. It was extremely sardonic. But it was a very well-made video, and even though I disagree with just about everything Steve Hottinger thinks, It was fantastic. In fact, I almost shared it on my site. I guarantee you there's nothing that I would make that Steve Hottinger would share on his site. And why? Because he's entrenched. He doesn't have an open mind. But I can appreciate people like Bill Maher. I can appreciate the Young Turks, even though I think Cenk Uyghur is just a miserable piece of shit. I still understand that what he does creates an amazing talent, and it's difficult to do what he does. I have to respect Dinesh D'Souza, even though I don't necessarily agree with him all the time. Mike Lindell, someone who I respect zero for his political opinions, but I do enjoy his product. I do have to respect his rags to riches story, and I can see that he has value. I have to respect AOC coming out of college and being a bartender and selling enough constituents on her bullshit to get elected. That takes skill. Lauren Boebert's the same way. You can appreciate people, we talked about this yesterday, and not necessarily like who they are. I don't like Cenk Uyghur. Despise him. In fact, when they said he was running for president, I said I will do whatever I can to troll every event that he has live and just shoot him down. But if you can't respect somebody and find the value in somebody, then it's a fairly a common understanding that you have very little value in yourself. And although Rocky has come on this show and he has trolled this show and his people have trolled this show before, and there's nothing wrong with that, and that doesn't bother me, and I'm not butthurt over it, I can respect that he's trying to do his thing, and that's cool. But what really would have been awesome is if he would have had an opinion that was just and actually expressed it and argued his point, because then not only is he quantifying in qualitative ways as well his value, but he's also recognizing that I have value and may not agree with anything I say, or may not enjoy the premise the way, or enjoy the way that I present that, or the premise that I may have. But he can at least recognize there's something about what I do that has some positive aspects. But that's the problem with where we are today. And it's the same thing with the GOP, and it's the same thing with the DNC. And it's been this way, honestly, since 2015. And it's not that I haven't recognized that politics were tumultuous between Burr and Hamilton. It's not that the print media wasn't biased back then. It's not that we haven't seen these entrenched ideological views throughout history. It's now people aren't hiding it. It's now that people are not pretending anymore. They're openly saying that they have a disregard for their fellow man, that they have a disregard for the other side, that they ultimately want to see people fail. And there's no clearer way of seeing this than if you look at Jamal Bowman and look at what happened to Kevin McCarthy. Two very different situations with two very equal but unequal outcomes. Go figure. Jamal Bowman hasn't been arrested. He broke the law. He pulled a fire alarm. He knows what a fire alarm is. He's not a child. He's over 18 years old. He's a representative of the United States Congress. He's a principal of a school. He is educated. He has a 4-year degree plus. He knows exactly what fire alarms do. He pulls it. It breaks the law. It's against the law. He interrupted or attempted to interrupt, knowing full well by his own admission that that's where he was going, knowing the result of what a fire alarm would do, which is ultimately put the entire area on notice, would at least interrupt, if not stop or take resources away from security on a weekend, pulling from other areas of vulnerability and moving towards his location to investigate, would possibly take the fire department away from a real fire and have them investigate what was going on there. There's a lot of repercussions why pulling a fire alarm is wrong. But most importantly, because if it was a fit of a complete baby who was just throwing a temper tantrum, nothing's going to happen to him. On the other side, you've got Kevin McCarthy, who negotiate. Now listen, you can say all you want about Kevin McCarthy, and you can despise and hate Kevin McCarthy all you want. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But for you to sit here and say that he did not have a bill, a continuing resolution, that most Republicans over the last 20 years would salivate and drool over, which was to recognize funding for the border, to have oversight on Ukraine, which wasn't around in the last 20 years, but that's fine. Surprisingly enough, we've been funding Ukraine a lot longer than the last 2 years. We've been working with Ukraine for the last 2 decades, and we have been giving them money for a lot longer than what's on the books, just because this whole bullshit that Vladimir Putin is the reason Ukraine's getting money. That is complete crap. We have been supplying them with money, supplying them with weapons for a lot longer than that. We installed their democracy. Let's stop pretending that Ukraine hasn't been on our list for a long time. And finally, Putin says, you know what? Fuck it. I'm done with it. Good or bad, agree or disagree, you don't have to go ahead and deny that or affirm that. And that doesn't make you a Zelensky hater or a Putin lover. Because honestly, I don't give a shit about either of them. I just want to stop giving them $300 fucking billion. Okay? That's what I want to do. I want to stop giving Ukraine that money. I want to give it to vets. I want to figure out the border. I want to go ahead and get our schools secure. I actually want to do something. What I don't want to do is ship money overseas. So when you look at McCarthy, who gets a 9% proposal on budget reduction, which is actually a 20-point swing compared to next year when they try to refund it again, because the Democrats are going to ask for that 9% reduction plus the 10% that they always ask every single year and increase the budget. You get oversight in Ukraine, which is what we've been asking for. You separate the bills and you get at least 8 of the appropriations bills separated, and although did not get all of them done, Matt Gaetz has to take some responsibility that he also blocked a lot of that legislation from going through as well. Kevin McCarthy did a lot of things wrong. Kevin McCarthy is not someone I appreciate. But the question I have for you is, if Kevin McCarthy being ousted as Speaker is such a good thing for America, and it's such a good thing for the GOP, and it's such a good thing for Republicans, and it's such a good thing for Donald Trump, and it's such a good thing for us as Americans, let me ask you, then why the fuck did the Democrats support it? Would you like me to say it again? Would you like me to ask that question again? If it's such a great thing for Republicans, why would the Democrats support the ouster of Kevin McCarthy? If it helps us so much and makes us look so good, why would they unanimously vote to remove him? I agree with removing the appropriations bills and voting on them separately. But even if you did that, you weren't going to get the reductions that Kevin McCarthy already delivered, that he already negotiated. So although it is important, why can't we say 60% was good enough this go around, and next go around, you better thank you for delivering the 9%. Thank you for delivering the oversight on Ukraine. Thank you for getting the border wall funded. You failed us. You did a lot of good on this, but dude, we need these individually voted on, all 12 of them, every single cycle. And if we don't, we're going to remove you as Speaker. That's the last warning. Why not do that? Well, because Matt Gaetz wants to get his way. And Matt Gaetz is who Matt Gaetz is. I'm telling you right now, I will tell you, and I will keep the date, mark it, October 4th, 11:25 a.m. Eastern Standard. You're all going to be pissed at Matt Gaetz sometime in the next year. He's going to do something that you're not going to like. And when he does, I'm going to laugh. Because you're putting remember Lindsey Graham? How he was a never Trumper, and then all of a sudden you all loved him because he said he was going to lock up Hillary Clinton, and he was going to go after Obama, and he was going to go after pallets full of cash. Don't you remember all that? And I told you there's not a fucking chance at Lindsey Graham. He's part of the swamp. There's no way this guy is going to go and do that. He is going to milk it. He's going to campaign on it. He's going to get reelected, and he's going to sit on his hands. What happened? But remember, Lindsey Graham was the great white hope at one point. Chip Roy was the great white hope when the 21 went ahead and didn't vote McCarthy in. He was one of the leaders of this. Don't you remember? You love Chip Roy. Well, you fucking hate him now. Why? Because he actually didn't vote against Kevin McCarthy. So do you hate MTG? Is Marjorie Taylor Greene someone you despise as much as Chip Roy now? Because MTG didn't vote yesterday. And Lauren Boebert didn't because she's in a tight election and she's hanging on by a vagina hair on her seat. And she doesn't want anything to do with this. So she popped smoke and didn't vote. Because you want to know why? Because her vote wasn't needed. Let me tell you, it's a big difference between 6 and 21. Making the Freedom Caucus smaller and seeing even more insignificant is not the design. You politicked and had people sit out of that vote so they didn't look bad to their constituents, which is just as bad as what McCarthy did by making a deal with the Democrats, which is just as bad as Matt Gaetz fundraising while he's going ahead and touting that he got the speaker ousted. Come on, folks. Matt Gaetz has a lot of value. He's smart, he's a bulldog, and he's tough. But if you think that his goal was to benefit America, tell me how. What happened last night? Is Kevin McCarthy out of power? No. Is the GOP and the Uniparty even more hardlined and more trepidatious of Trump supporters than ever before? Yes. Do you believe that GOP hard right is going to move articles to expel Matt Gaetz? I told you last night, 2 people in the House told me that that's what's being talked about with the GOP right now. About expelling Matt Gaetz for what he did. People are pissed. And they may not do it because they're going to try to let the smoke clear. They're going to take this week off, and that's why the interim speaker banged the gavel and got them out of session to give them a chance to cool off, because the hardline GOP wanted Matt Gaetz' head on a fucking pike last night. On a pike. And I was reporting that before Bongino, before anyone else. But go watch Bongino. He started reporting it. Go take a look at Crowder. Go take a look at the guys who also caught wind of this. That this isn't over. The GOP made themselves look like fools yet again. Democrats are lined shoulder to shoulder, standing unified together. And Republicans are doing what Republicans always do. Fighting amongst themselves. They look like a bunch of clowns. That's it. That's it. I don't know what else to say. But I'll tell you what, nothing that happened last night benefits America. Okay, Donna says, Matt Gaetz revealed how many more rhinos are still with the House Republicans and Dems. How can you not know that anyway when you look at how they vote? When they all signed the Ukraine bill and extended money of $150 fucking billion, Donna, no offense, how did you know that they weren't freaking Republicans in name only or warmongers or whatever else? What do you mean? You have, but Donna, this is the problem. You have 6 people going against what, 200 plus Republicans? So you're not a Republican. You're not a conservative. Because the Republican majority in the minority were held hostage by 6 people. Does that seem like a republic to you, where individuals are represented on the state and collectively represented by a representative democracy? Do you feel the nation spoke last night? Do you feel the country wanted Kevin McCarthy? Was that on any of the of the election focuses for any of the candidates you saw on stage? When you saw the polling for economy and fentanyl and border and world position and dollar valuation and trade and taxation and all those things that you saw, lockdowns, global warming, college tuition and forgiveness, all the things that America's worried about. Which poll and where did it place Kevin McCarthy to be removed as House Speaker? Where did you see that concern in the country? Where was it at? No, they don't hide it, Donna. Voting is public record. I can tell you every vote and what every person voted for the last 76 years. Anything you want. Before that, I'll have to go ahead and dig deeper. I'll have to start using Freedom of Information Act to get those records, because those are in the Library of Congress. And I don't know if they're all digital yet. But I can tell you every single vote, every HR bill, every continuing resolution, every proposition, every amendment to any law from a state, city, local, municipality, or federal government, I can tell you who voted where, what, when. What do you mean they hide it? They don't hide anything. And if you're going to get upset that people didn't vote to oust McCarthy, then why aren't we upset that Liz Cheney voted 93% with the Republican Party and Donald Trump? One of the highest percentages of votes for Republicans, which is antithetical to Rhino. If you always vote Republican, unlike McCarthy that voted with Democrats 46% of the time, which demonstrates that he works with Democrats too much, when Nancy Pelosi during her tenure as Speaker only voted with Republicans 7% of the time. McCarthy deserved to be ousted. Of course he did. He was soft on the Democrats. He was weak. Not questioning that. But that doesn't mean you go ahead and blow up the entire GOP and make it look inept in the United States and not have a closed-door conversation. Not that you don't bring everybody into conference and say, okay, this is fucking it. We're sitting in this room. Nobody's going home until we figure out the Freedom Caucus and what you want to do. If you're going to be like the Black Caucus and dictate our policy, then we want to see what you're going to dictate over the next 4 years. And we want it all laid out so there's no surprises, because that's what they had to do with the Black Caucus with the Democrats. Nancy Pelosi brought the Black Caucus in, sat him down and said, hey, who's running this fucking party? Then she brought in the progressives and the socialists, the squad, and sat them down and said, we're moving forward as a party. You will never get a fundraiser. You will never be funded by the DNC. We will cut off all campaign contributions. We will shut you down. We will make you an invalid in your districts. We will silence you. Either you're a Democrat and you trust my leadership, or the DNC is cutting you off and you're on your fucking own. The Black Caucus, the squad, went in line. And you remember when this happened, because don't you remember when AOC started picketing and followers started going into Nancy Pelosi's office? And when she came in, she started raising some ruckus. And it was this progressive movement. Everyone thought the Democrats were going to split. And I told you, no. Nancy's going to get them in line because she controls the money. What happened? They all got in line like they always do. And AOC shut the fuck up. Ilhan Omar shut up. Rashid Tlaib shut up. Bowman came in and a couple of other people came in, and they're going to shut up. Then you had the Black Caucus who shut up. They should have brought in the Freedom Caucus, brought in Eli Crane, brought in Luttrell, brought in MTG, Boebert, sat down and said, you have a choice. Either you're going to fundraise all on your own and the RNC is not going to give you another dollar, or you're going to trust the Republican GOP. And we are going to institute right now what the plan is. We need to know what you want to do, how you want to do it, and we'll trade ponies to get it for you. But you need to shut your mouth when it comes to outside of these interim chambers. You need to show solidarity with every other Republican, because we are going to lose the House if you don't. Because if you think we're going to win the House, you're insane. You're insane. Pelosi is a POS, but you know what? I've said it before and I'll say again. If all of a sudden she had a Tulsi Gabbard reinvention of herself and decided, I'm going to be a Republican, you cannot tell me that you wouldn't want a speaker like her. You're telling me Mitch McConnell is the best we can do? Kevin McCarthy is the best we can do? These spineless guys? You can say all you want about Nancy Pelosi. She raised $372 million for her party as speaker. She had less of a frickin' House in favor than Kevin McCarthy did. She was sitting at 6 with a +1 independent. She never got ousted. She never got kicked out. She managed to go ahead and raise money. You can hate Nancy Pelosi all you want, because trust me, I think the woman is one of the most obnoxious people on the planet, but she knows how to do her job. Once again, go back to the earlier conversation. If you can't recognize the value in people, then you're going to be surprised. And if you're going to be surprised, you're going to lose. Nancy Pelosi is a political strategist, and she's damn good at it. And she gets under the skin of people like no other. Schumer just goes up there and holds her dress and purse. She's good at what she does. I would kill to have somebody fighting for us like she fights for her party, and her party's always wrong. Quick break. I gotta go get my coffee. I'll be right back. Yeah, she's a crook. So what? You telling me that the Republicans aren't crooks? How much money did George Bush make from his presidency? How much did Ronald Reagan make from his presidency? There's only one who has not been a crook. But if you're going to think that Donald Trump's family didn't make money, they made money. But did Donald Trump? No, he lost money. Valuation of his company went down by 27%? He cut all ties to the business. He didn't take a salary. Who else has done that? It doesn't matter that Nancy Pelosi's a crook. They're all crooks. That's the problem. That's the deceit right there. That's where you're being deceived. Jody, you're being deceived because when you say she's a crook, you're implying that they're not all crooks. They're all crooks. They all make money from selling legislation and policy. They all do. They either get it from campaign contributions, they either get it in book deals or contracts with Fox News being a pundit, they get it from the political action committees, they get it from dark money, or they get it on the lecture circuit for $150,000 an hour going to places like Cambridge and Brown and Oxford. They're all crooks. Please name a politician who has not come out richer or come out poorer than when they went in. Even Bernie Sanders, the commie himself, has benefited. How much money has the crooks cost the American people? $32.3 trillion as of today. They're all corrupt. This is the problem. This is why we never get anything done. Because what we're doing is saying that there's actually some people there who are trying to represent their constituents. 32.6. It's not $33 trillion right now, I don't believe. Hold on. Maybe it is. Maybe it went up. I haven't checked it. Oh, yeah, you're right. It's actually, we're both wrong. 33.4. See if I can get this up for everybody. 33.4. Let's go to yeah, 33.4. 33.4 trillion right now. There it is. $33.44 trillion debt per citizen, 99,625. Debt per taxpayer, 257,795. Now, that's the national debt. I want to see the deficit because that should be like 32 trillion because we do make a profit. But it's not a surplus now. Either way, too much. Too much damn money. Unbelievable. 33.4 and going up as we speak every minute of every day. People in this country can't feed their families and the crooks just keep buying new boats. Right. So but that's both sides. It's disappointing we can't get our representatives to do their jobs on behalf of the American people. So sick of the needless overspending and foreign wars. Well, that's what it's about. So how can it be fixed? The legislators make laws. They won't make laws that don't benefit themselves. That's right. Because it's broken. So here's the trick. I've said it a million times. You're not going to fix it from the national level because the national level is where the problem is. You're asking people. You're asking the cigarette company, the American Tobacco Society, to solve cancer. Why would you expect the people who created the debt to solve the debt? Does that make any sense to you? Would you expect an alcoholic to create a 7-step program for America to get them sober? Then why are you expecting politicians to get it done? There's only one way to do it. is that the smaller people are, the more eager they are to help you. And if you start at the city and the towns, city council, the school boards, county clerk's office, recorder's office, sheriff's department, and that's where we start. That's where it has to happen because the power is within the states. The federal government usurps power from the states, and you're looking for the federal government to be less of a bureaucracy and less of a tyrannical government when that in the definition is what a federal government does. It forces its will upon the states. But the way it should work is that once you have a majority of the states, the federal government is there to codify law. The Bill of Rights is codified across all the states. Although the states get to stomp on it, like California, by doing magazine bans and flasher bans and certain types of firearm bans. And the Supreme Court's found that unconstitutional, but they continue to push. That's where the federal government comes in. Like the legalization of marijuana. Right now, you've got so many states that have legalized marijuana, 13, 17, whatever it is. When you get to a point where it's 25 plus, 26, 27, and you start moving toward the overall 2/3 majority of the states, you will see the lobbyists from those states to start bringing in other governors to approve marijuana across the board. And then once it's agreed upon by 2/3 of the states, it will be codified into law. That's how you propose an amendment. That's how you get it done. If you want to change the government, the federal government, the only way to do it is to change the city and local governments. It's going to take you. See, because you continue to say, I want to do change, I want to do this, I want to do that. Then do it. Then go find what you're good at. And maybe you're not going to be able to run for office, but maybe you can volunteer at a local election office. Maybe you could go ahead and work on city council. Maybe you could just go be PTA at your school. Maybe you could fundraise for a candidate you truly believe in. Maybe you'll be a speechwriter. Maybe you're a graphic designer and you can donate your time to a candidate you really like. But either way, it's our civic duty to participate in this republic that we have. And if we don't, we continue to give the power to the people who have absolutely no desire to change anything. The only thing they're vying for, let me give you an example. And then I'm going to go because I'm taking the rest of the day off. We have term limits. It's called voting. Vote them out. Yeah, marijuana might not be good. It doesn't really matter. I gave an example. Doesn't matter. It could be underwater basket weaving is the national sport. If 2/3 of the majority of states agree, then it's going to be proposed and codified into law by the federal government. Okay? There. If you don't like underwater basket weaving, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, whoever's lying that marijuana isn't a gateway drug, let me explain. For those who've smoked marijuana, have you had another drug? Have you tried another drug? Most assuredly, the answer would be yes. I'm pretty confident. Then it's a gateway. Because I've smoked marijuana and I've tried other drugs too. So don't sit here and tell me that it's not a gateway. Just like beer is a gateway into liquor. Because addictive personalities, if you have one, of course it is. And there's some people who've smoked marijuana who've never tried anything else in their entire life, and that's fine. And for them, that's important. But the statistics say that marijuana is a gateway drug. You don't have to agree. And it doesn't matter whether you agree because the stats say you're wrong. Because if you ask honestly, who's tried marijuana and then who has tried A, B, C, D, E, F, G of any other type of controlled substance, you're going to have people check the box. So let's stop pretending. And I don't care if you smoke pot. I don't really give a shit. It doesn't affect me at all. It's your privacy. It's your home. You get to do whatever the hell you want. But to sit here and pretend that it's beneficial to everyone who does it, I've already had that conversation. I've already done that show. Because there are medicinal properties to marijuana. There's innovative properties. There is mercantile and commodity with hemp that needs to be tapped. Completely agree. For medicinal purposes, for textile, for manufacturing needs, innovation needs, hemp is a wonderful product. I'm with you. But you're not going to sit here and tell me that smoking every day, the first thing you do, wake up, have a banger for lunch, roll a J for frickin' a nooner, go ahead and take a bong hit before dinner, and have 3 brownies for dessert, and then go ahead and have some marijuana tea with a few mushrooms right before you go to bed, that's good for you. Give me a fucking break, okay? Give me a break. I smoked for a long time. Marijuana smoke is it's pure, man. It comes out of the ground. Yeah, whatever, okay? In the end, it's a carcinogen. And it's not good to inhale carcinogens, at the very least, okay? Enough said. I don't have a problem with marijuana. Don't have a problem at all. Don't care. You want to smoke it? Smoke it. But let's not pretend that you want your 12-year-old smoking and taking 3-foot graphic bong hits, okay? Come on. Let's be realistic here. And if you look at Colorado, yeah, they're like, crime is down from an arrest standpoint on marijuana. Yeah, dipshit, that's because it's legal. Oh, well, people with possession is dropped. Yeah, because it's not illegal anymore. But look at roadway accidents, driving while intoxicated. Those have risen by 300%. Look at overall crime and smuggling outside of Colorado to other states. That's increased by 3,000%. Look at overall home prices and property value. It's not that the houses have gotten better. It's that the property, because people want to fucking grow weed there. Look at Colorado. I own a $275,000 mansion in Colorado with my mom and dad. That same house is selling for $1.2 million now. You can't buy anything in Colorado. I'll never live there again. Don't sit here and tell me that marijuana is great for everybody. It's great for the state. It's great for taxes. And yeah, it's good for the people who want to get high. But when you look at the cost of living, you look at the crime rate, you look at the overall fatalities that take place on the roadways, it's not good for the people. Not as a collective. Jazzy says STUF. I don't know what that means. I heard that Jim Jordan was going to run for speaker. Good. He'll probably get it. I don't know if Democrats are going to vote with him. You better not have any separation. He didn't stand with the McCarthy ousting. Do we think that the Uniparty or the Freedom Caucus will vote? I think they will. I think they'll vote for him. Let me find out, and then we're going to go. Jim Jordan, speaker. Holy shit. This should be interesting. Because he is the one person, that I felt would be a good speaker. He has no problem challenging the authority. He has no problem making the argument. Now, they're going to hit him with the Penn State stuff. And you know that's what the Democrats are going to bring. They're going to bring the allegations at Penn State. But I think Jim Jordan would make a great speaker. Good. So do it. But I'll tell you what. The worst thing that we can have happen is 7 or 8 people running for speaker, splitting the vote, and we have multiple votes. That is going to be a clusterfuck. You have to put everybody in a room, lock them down, get the majority whip in there, whip them into shape, make whatever promises and sweetheart deals you need to make with the GOP, do what I said they should have done earlier, and you have one vote and it's unanimous across the Republican Party, or you tell those little pricks RNC is pulling their funding from you. We're getting rid of your seat because you're just as bad as the one that vote Democrat. If you vote against the GOP and you vote against the interests of our party, you're just as bad as the fucking rhinos. That's what you do. And you have one vote and you go to the Democrats and say, if you want to block this vote, that's fine. We're lockstep. We've got the majority. It's a slim margin, but nobody's moving ranks. You guys can either look like obstructionists, and you hang this on the Democrats because the Democrats are going to rail against it. The Democrats have no desire to have Jim Jordan as Speaker. It is not going to go over. It's going to go over like a lead balloon. Good. Show the Democrats that they fucked up. Kevin McCarthy screwed up. Kevin McCarthy went to the Democrats. The Democrats all jumped on board with him. They passed the legislation to the continuing resolution for 45 days. They took Ukraine out of the budget. They did what Jim Jordan wanted, at least at the end, because he had 9%. He had the border funded. He had veterans taken care of. He had a lockdown avoided. He had the funding for the next year. He had everything he wanted. Well, that was voted against. So he went back to the Democrats in order to avoid a shutdown because he knew what it would look like against Republicans. And then he went on the Sunday talk shows and talked shit about all the Democrats. So when it came up for him to be ousted, they're like, fuck you, buddy, I'm not voting for you. And remember, I told you, I said that. I said Matt Gaetz has sourced all the Democrats and found out where they stand on McCarthy. He would never put this forward unless he had struck a deal and they knew it. Matt Gaetz went to the Democrats and found out where they stood. And he took a straw poll and he understood that they were going to win. He understood where, I guarantee you, he went to Hakeem Jeffries, he went to AOC, we know he was talking to Jayapal, we know that for sure, and Gaetz went and said, hey, where do you guys stand? And they're like, well, if you push forward that proposition, we're pretty confident that you would have the votes. Boom, he went back to the Freedom Caucus and said, I need 6 of you. Boebert, stay out of it. MTG, stay out of it. And went down the list on people who were soft districts who had a chance to be primaried and got the votes he needed to make sure that it would pass, and then he went ahead and did it. That is the type of leadership. Whether you agree with Matt Gaetz or not, that's the same type of leadership we need to see from Jim Jordan to get in and give him the GOP vote. And honestly, I don't think it's the Freedom Caucus, which is going to be soft. I don't think it's going to be the moderate Republicans. I think it's the hardline GOP and Uniparty, people like Lindsey Graham. I might even think Ted Cruz. A lot of the people who are kind of Trump now, but not, those are the ones. Dan Crenshaw is going to be a guy. So you have to, and I'm not saying Ted Cruz is going to make the vote because he's senator. And I'm not saying Lindsey Graham is going to make the vote, but those are people who need to speak on the behalf of Jim Jordan. You need the Senate lockstep with the House in order to make this happen. They have to advocate for him. Because people like Dan Crenshaw, who are anti-Trump, they may not vote for Jordan. You might see the opposite that you saw with McCarthy, is that you might see a hardline GOP push, and that's not going to be good for the country. If Jim Jordan is going to run for Speaker, you have a very good chance of top grading Kevin McCarthy, which is a huge win for us. It looks like we know what the fuck we're doing, and we get to campaign on the following. Democrats knew that Nancy Pelosi did things that weren't good for the party. A lot of people wanted to move forward with the Green New Deal. The progressives in our party wanted to go ahead and change the way things were done, like college tuition. Joe Biden ran on it for his presidency. AOC was saying that before Joe even got there. They were shunned. Nancy Pelosi made some mistakes. And instead of the Democrats removing her for her money involved with investing in the stock market, with the allegations of her during lockdowns, going to the beautician and breaking the rule and saying what's good for me is not good for thee. And then Paul Pelosi in that situation, the 60 Minutes article in 2014 and that entire show that have been talking about her doing insider trading, her husband doing insider trading and investment in the real estate in the federal buildings, her child on the board with Ukraine along with Mitt Romney. Yeah, we should have probably removed her too, but we didn't. We lockstep because we're liberals and we don't care as long as we get away with it. Republicans can run on that. But when Kevin McCarthy went ahead and betrayed the party principles, we removed him. They can run on that, especially if they unanimously put in Jim Jordan. Love your phrase, when the drama llamas stampede. There are two kinds of TDS, Trump derangement syndrome and Trump devotion syndrome. Both are nonsensical and divisive. I hope Jordan gets the speakership. I think he will. I know Jordan voted to keep McCarthy. He voted to keep McCarthy even in the original votes and all 15 votes. Jim Jordan he's not Freedom Caucus. He's a Judicial Watch type guy. He's not the Freedom Caucus. So he voted for McCarthy because McCarthy, you guys, you have to understand, this is politics, okay? And if you want to be myopic in every single thing that somebody does, and you assume that they have to be perfect in their decision making in order for you to support them, then you're not a Trump supporter either. Because it's amazing how you guys nitpick every single person, whether it be Dan Crenshaw or Ted Cruz or Kevin McCarthy or Matt Gaetz or Boebert or MTG. And yes, I'm never calling her Boebert again. I know it's Boebert. She's Boebert. She's earned Boebert. Those salaciously fun bags will be pointed out constantly. Sorry, Boebert. She always, until she comes on my show and corrects me, she's going to be Boebert. You guys hold their feet to the flames. They make one decision. Rhino. Donald Trump was for vaccines. Donald Trump was for lockdowns. Donald Trump took firearms away from Americans by reducing the amount of bump stocks. Wanted to go ahead and reduce the age of involuntary seizure of weapons without a warrant. Donald Trump put tariffs on a country. I thought we were for free trade. There's a lot of things Donald Trump did that weren't popular, but guess what? He wound up being right. And yeah, you don't need a bump stock. You don't. You're an idiot. If you don't know how to reduce the tension on a trigger, and you don't know how to fire an AR-15 in rapid succession and stay on target, then you don't deserve a bump stock. Because honestly, bump stocks are shit. They're shit. Because nobody opens up full auto. I don't give a shit. Ask any veteran how many people open up full auto unless they're on the range, who've seen any combat downrange, unless it's a heavy gunner support, unless they're rocking an M60, a 50, or a SAW. I want you to tell me who opens up full auto and is not doing controlled bursts. Please. You don't need a bump stock, but it doesn't matter. Nobody agreed with that because it's a limitation on the Second Amendment. There are things that Trump did that you didn't agree with, and that's okay. A lot of people don't agree with Operation Warp Speed, but what you haven't done is abandon Trump. You haven't said, nope, I'm not going to vote for him because he made these decisions. Then give some of these politicians a little break. Give them a little break. When they make mistakes, hold them accountable. Call them out for it. Put it in your receipts. Remember it. But don't ostracize every single person because you don't like what they do, because then you will never, you'll never watch my show again. Because if you disagree with one thing that I say and you leave, which there's plenty of people who have, there are plenty of people who disagree with what I say and they will never come and watch my show again. But mainly the people who leave my show is that they were wrong and they don't like the fact that I was right. And that's okay. Some people have stigmas about those type of things. If you don't want to be wrong, then maybe you should wait before you make judgment. Maybe you should collect all the facts. I could have come out last night and said, there's going to be a vote against Matt Gaetz, guaranteed. That's not what I said. I said there is a very large element that wants to expel Matt Gaetz from the House, which is true. And then it was reported by several people outside after I reported it first. Nobody else was reporting it. Fox? No. Bongino? No. Nobody was reporting that. They were reporting something else. They were reporting Matt Gaetz wants to fundraise and run for governor. That's what they were reporting. I was reporting that there was a very large portion of the GOP that wanted to expel Gaetz from Congress. And they're still there. They went into session because they wanted no more chaos. They got out of session because they didn't want any more chaos. Shane says, I don't trust Trump. That's well within your right. I don't trust anybody. Why do we have to make that mutually exclusive to Donald Trump? It took me 24 some odd years to trust my wife. Unequivocally, unabashedly, I trust my wife. That took me a long time. I don't trust anybody. A guy next door named Mike, I trust. He's also Old Man River, and he served his country. I trust him with no doubt. There's maybe 10 people who I trust in my life. But that you don't trust Trump, that's not a surprise. I don't trust Trump. Trump doesn't know. Why would I? Can I talk about another thing? Because I haven't said anything about Trump. So I'm gonna take Shane's comment, and I'm not trying to. Can I ask a question from people real quick, and then I'm gonna pop smoke? Are you guys a little tired of this Trump demanding loyalty, unfettered loyalty? Is anyone a little sick of hearing that? When you keep hearing they're not loyal, like Laura Loomer always talks about that. DeSantis isn't loyal to Trump. I don't know. DeSantis went on Bill Maher and he looked pretty good. He handled Bill Maher really well. I thought his answers were fantastic. He shut Bill Maher down a couple of times. And you don't sit with Bill Maher as a Republican if he doesn't like you and look good. Ron came off as strong, and he should have been doing that a long time ago. It was a good interview. Go watch it. Bill Maher and Ron DeSantis. I watch Bill Maher every week. But go listen to it. It's good. But aren't we a little tired of this loyalty thing? Yeah, Matt. You're right. You don't need to trust Donald Trump. Your life was better with him. So was mine. But this unfettered loyalty to a man, I don't have it. I don't have a king. Donald Trump demands loyalty from everyone and demonstrates loyalty to no one. I'm sorry. I will. You don't have to like it. You don't have to watch the show anymore. If you're upset with me by saying, if you can't handle that simple truth, then I'm sorry. Donald Trump has demonstrated zero loyalty to anyone. I've never seen it. Can you tell me who he's loyal to? He's just not that type of guy. Donald Trump is, what have you done for me lately? And that's fine. And he can be that way. And there's no knock on that. Most billionaires / millionaires I've heard, or the ones who I do know and have interacted with, they very rarely show loyalty to anyone because everybody wants one thing from them, their money. So I'm not surprised that Donald Trump doesn't show loyalty. He's the president of the United States. He doesn't have to show loyalty to anyone. But he doesn't show loyalty to people even after being president or before. So can we stop pretending that just because you say something about Donald Trump, it doesn't make you disloyal? Because I'm not loyal to a man. I'm not loyal to a man. I'm loyal to my core beliefs and how I see the world. But what that also means is that if people don't see the world as I do, that I'm immediately resistant to them. And I think that's what every single person needs to work on, including myself. And I try to do it every time. When I disagree with somebody, I try not to jump on them anymore. I still do it. I still screw up. I make mistakes. I get triggered. No, don't trust me. Don't ever trust me. I think that is the worst. There's a reason why I came from the Intel community, and one of my favorite patches that I own, and the reason I have this tattoo, is it says on Intelligence Specialist patch, it's an eagle with sunglasses on and monitor headphones on. And it says, "In God we trust, all others we monitor." I don't trust anybody. You shouldn't trust me. Your loyalty should be to God, your family, and your country. And you don't have to have God in there if you don't want to. So it's either God, your family, your country, or your country, or your family and your country. You decide if you want to put God in there. That's up to you. I don't want to force anyone to do that. But your loyalty should never be to a man. I don't care what that man's done for you. I don't care at all. Because inherently men are sinners and men make mistakes, and it is just a matter of time, on a long enough timeline, that you will be disappointed if you put your faith into only a man. You're looking for disappointment. Listen, folks, appreciate you coming on. Here's what we're going to do. I've realized that I got to announce these shows, and I got to be on at 8:30, 9 o'clock, because all the 10 o'clock shows come on. And it's going to obviously, in order for me to crack that algorithm, it's going to be tough. So, I'll talk about that, Dottie, 1 second. So what I'm going to do is tomorrow I'm going to come on, I'll be on at 9. And then I'm going to try an 8:30 next week, but we're going to try to balance this out. We'll figure it out. But we will continue to do the morning show, see how it goes, and then we'll be on at night. Tonight, Olivia and I will be on with Amy, maybe, and we'll see it. Now, as far as the emergency broadcast system, okay. Okay, so let's feel like I'm ice skating here. There we go. Look down. Okay. Is it weird? Okay, gotta turn this thing off. It's driving me crazy. It's not in the middle. Hold on. Okay. Is it weird that Russia, why does it keep pushing up? Screw it. Okay, so is it weird that Russia is testing their emergency system along with FEMA and EAM EBS here in the United States? Okay, the emergency broadcast system was tested every month when it was just TV. Okay, and a lot of these tests, when they started getting cell phones, smartphones in particular, not the old flip phones, but like the Razor, but smartphones, is they could run the test without running the test. They would send you texts or emails to track, right? And you would get an email that said this is a test, or you get a text, and it was very non-obtrusive, okay? Now, you've got iPads. You've got Xbox controllers. You've got computers. You've got TVs. You've got over-the-top devices. You've got thousands of different options that have a Wi-Fi signal and can monopolize your attention. So they are running a system that runs off IP based, and it's going to be different than the standard system. And not only do they need the test, they need to do a test simultaneously to 332 million people, minus the ones that don't have a device, and send this on a national blitz to see the overall penetration rate and what's successful and what's not. This has been planned since like 2019, and they do this all the time, but this is going to everything. Like, if you're connected to the internet and you're IP based, you're getting a ping. It's going to be on iPads, over the top computers, TV sets, this show. I'm going to get it. If I was on at 2:30, it would happen on this computer, happen on my phone, happen on my iPad behind me, and my other computers. So understand that is a large ask. I mean, considering there's like something like 196 million mobile devices in the United States right now that are active. That's insane. iPads, computers, TV sets, all of it. Even your refrigerator that connects to the internet is going to get a warning. So a lot of people are saying this is a 5G push. Okay. That's not how it works. Okay? Your hardline internet is going to get a signal, and all devices attached to it will be hit from your internet service provider, your ISP. If you have LTE or wireless or 5G, it'll be sent from the cell phone towers. If you are not in a position to handle a landline or a home Wi-Fi network, it'll be sent over LTE. If you're on satellite-based service, it'll be pinged through that service, which will go to all your devices. This is not complicated. This is nothing to be scared of. Now, why are they running it? Well, because it was scheduled. Now, Russia doing it, it's just to fuck with you. This is what Russia does. That's what Russia does. Russia is running their test just to go ahead and fuck with Americans. So, like I put up the post, it's a little weird that Russia's running the exact same test as we are, but it doesn't surprise me considering Russia plays head games. Remember what I've said. Russia is the #1 disinformation and counterintelligence network in the world. They are fantastic at it. Russia is the foremost experts on counterintelligence in the world today, and they've always been that way. Their tactics are merciless. They are amazing at disinformation. They are 100% autonomous from any other media source. They are a state media. They are the largest state media in the world, even over China. And they are extremely effective at what they do. And this is why you hear a lot of these stories, bioweapon labs and Putin's invading because of Nazis. A lot of these stories have been in the ether for 12, 15 years, even since Crimea. So let's just relax. Is the United States running more drills? Yeah, I'll tell you why. Because Mount Weather is a rock throw from me, and I hear the Blackhawks come in every single night. Lee, I don't understand why you keep doing that. And is that directed at me because I don't like it? So I'm going to wait for Lee's answer. Is that directed at me when you keep saying squirrel? Do you really think that I can't stay on topic, or do you think that I'm reading everybody's comments and I'm addressing people's comments and it changes the flow of the show? Help me understand. I'll wait for you. I've seen some very crazy reels on it too. Some people sent them to me last night. I just told you what's happening. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you, and Lee, answer my question. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's not weird and that Washington isn't ramping up nuclear disaster drills, because they are. Of course they are. I told you, we hear the Blackhawks come over 8:30 to, well, I'm not going to give the exact times. They come over, we're on the flight path. And there are evacuations going to Mount Weather every single night. And what they're doing is they're testing response time. Because underground Washington is only going to take so many people. And Air Force One is only going to take so many people. But secondary, I get you, Lee, thanks. It's okay. I just didn't know if you were talking to me. Because I see you do it all the time. Squirrel. And I'm like, I'm not a squirrel. I'm literally replying to everybody. So that's the thing, is that they are upping their readiness. Yes, we also bought a very large quantity of radiation pills, but we do that all the time too. Okay? Sodium tablets is something that we buy as well for water purification. We buy a high level of antibiotics each year. It's the reason why this all seems so scary is the government's been doing this for a long time. It's just that the amount of information that is shared now is at a millisecond, and the information comes out before the explanation. So we jump to these conclusions. But of course, everyone's going to go ahead and try to make a click out of this. You didn't think I didn't want to do it? Russia is tying their emergency response systems to us. It's a clear sign that they're going to test our weaknesses and try to hijack our system and give disinformation out. You know what? Russia doesn't need to do that. We just did that in Hawaii. Okay? We failed during the Maui fires to release the emergency response system. And if you don't remember, about a year and a half before that, we released a fake nuclear blast is incoming and made the whole entire fucking area and the island flip out. We don't need Russia's help. We do that shit all the time. This is what I've tried to tell you. People are like, stolen election and the United States government is so clandestine. They can't find their ass with two hands. Leroy and I work for this government and some of the most clandestine shit in America. They can't do it. The United States government aren't these masters of deceit. They can't keep a secret. If three can't keep a secret, if two are dead, as Franklin said. You expect them to keep a secret with 30, 40,000 people on a stolen election, but they can't even keep fucking a conversation between Ukraine and Donald Trump private? Give me a break. Rhonda says, a lot of Q-tippers are going to think the EBS alert means Trump is making a move. Of course it is. Of course, that's what they've already said. What is it? Drop 383, I think is what they're saying. Drop 383, 3383, somewhere in those numbers. Is that the emergency response system is to alert the National Guards to take over their state governments and to declare martial law to reinstall Trump? Of course! They're idiots! Why do you listen to these fucking people? How do these people have tens of thousands of followers on Twitter? And I'm losing followers every single day. But all I do is tell them the truth. Do you know how hard it is not to get into this? Because I'm a creative person. I've always been a good writer. I could write some shit that would just like melt people's brain. And I would probably have 1 million followers tomorrow, but you tell them the truth. And this is what happens. Give me a break. Give me a break. Millions of people are just like, oh, drop 383. There's going to be martial law. Donald Trump's going to come back. He's going to have everyone arrested. The National Guard. Dude, you guys have already done that. You've already said that shit. You said that in 2020 in January. You said it in March. You said it in June. You said there were secret tribunals where they went ahead and they've already hung Nancy Pelosi and Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. That Joe Biden is a clone. Give me a... You people are just... It's WWF wrestling. And they're selling you a movie. And instead of just realizing how simplistic this really is, that it's only about 3 things. It's not about the Illuminati. It's not about sex trafficking. It's not about pedophilia. It's not about the Trilateral Commission. It's not about the World Economic Forum. It's not about the Davos Summit. It's not about any of that. It's about money, power, votes. That's it. Money, power, votes. Those are the only 3 things that make government go. And if you want to break it down to its lowest common denominator and you want to find out and ask the why, it's always money, power, and votes. That is the only motivation for politicians. It's the only motivation for world powers. Money, power, votes. And you have to obtain at least one of those to find the motivation in a politician, if not all 3. How hard is it? Rhonda, it isn't. Rhonda, that is what is so funny about your comment, is it's not sarcasm, because that's, I swear to God to you, there is a drop 383, 3383. I wish Carrie Sparks was here because she's a nutter. She would tell us, actually, Matt, it's drop 32672.7. Alpha Bravo Charlie Mike Delta Echo Alpha Quadrant Omega. And at war clandestine. Give me a break. It's actually true. It's not a joke. What you just made something up, which is actually what they're saying, is that this emergency broadcast system is actually a signal to the National Guard to overtake and to coordinate, like Independence Day, a strike against the totalitarian governments across the states for the National Guard to take over to reinstall Trump. That's what they did. They believe that we are under military control, and they've believed that since January 6th. That Trump is still in control of the United States government. Do you understand this? I'm not making this shit up. Guys think I'm kidding. So remember, folks, when you get your emergency broadcast system today, go do your civic duty. Listen, cures are just like leftists. I don't like Rocky, who called in. The guy's a cure. And, you know, he's also a, who is that guy? Amy, who, I can't even remember this douche plow's name, who I went after their followers, the Soy Boys. What was their name? What was his name? It wasn't Mendoza. It was, oh, come on. He's the one that came in with Milo Yiannopoulos and Kanye. The little freaking, neo-Nazi, anti-Semite douche plow. What was his name, Amy? Fuentes. That's right. Was it Robert? What was his first name? I don't even remember. This is how much I can't respect Fuentes. He is just an alt-right douche plow. Anti-Semite, racist dick. And all of his little trolls still come here. Because they can't stand the fact that somebody disagrees with them, because they're crap. Nick Fuentes, that's right. Nick Fuentes. The guy is a world-class douche plow. Anyway, that's it. Mike wants to come on. Yeah, Mike, if you want to come on, that's fine. But just one agreement is just, let's talk about what you want to talk about. I don't need any accolades. That's fine. Yeah, Nick Fuentes. He was the guy that, Vicky, the guy that just came on, Rocky. He's been on before. He's been on the show before. Well, no, it's just, there's so many names in my head. I only remember the people who are important to me, and Nick Fuentes is important to me. he's completely fucking irrelevant. When Trump goes away, he'll never be heard from again. Every single platform has crushed him. Yeah, Mike, if you want to call in, do it now. But I'm going to go after this. Because I'm going to go play Cyberpunk 2077, I think is what it is. So if you're going to do it now. JR says, the Defense Law War Manual, EO's executive orders read Government Mill 1776. JR, what are you talking about? JR, what are you talking about? I get that all the time. People are like, dude, look at this document. I don't know what you're talking about, JR. The Defense Law War Manual, executive orders, read it, .gov.mil 1776 docs. But see, here's the problem, man. JR, what do you want us to read? Because when people go, read it, educate yourself. About what? If it's an executive order and it's a military executive order, what do you want us to read about it? What does it have to do with the conversation we're talking about? Just, help me understand. And you might say something that's really interesting. I might go, wow, that sounds great. Cool. But tell me what I'm looking for. What do you want me to take away from that article? Be great if Trump becomes speaker, but then he already is as stated. Donald Trump can't become speaker. He's under federal indictment. It's one of the provisions to be speaker. Can't be under federal indictment. Doesn't matter whether we agree with it or not. He's under federal indictment. He can't be speaker. There's nothing they can do. He doesn't have the votes anyway. Trump's not going to be speaker. Not a chance in hell. I've been telling people that for 2 years. Nope. No way. Will not be speaker. Never. Well, maybe not never. I mean, if he doesn't get it in 2024, he very well could be speaker, but you're not going to have the votes. Because if we lose in 2024 the presidency, we're going to lose the House and the Senate. They're going to give the Democrats a mandate because they're pissed off at the Republicans. And our country's never going to be the same after that. So, Mike, I got to go, dude. You got to hurry. Yeah, but Trump's not going to be speaker. I've said it before, 1,000 times. Not going to be speaker. No way. Why would you want to be a janitor when you've been the CEO? I saw that Jim Jordan, I think Jim Jordan gets it. What are the ethics violations about Gates? I'm not going to speak on that until it's released. I won't do that. It's not my business. You've heard about the allegations about sexual impropriety. DOJ didn't move forward with that. There was already an investigation on that. Do you read, he is president of a republic of the U.S. and commander-in-chief of the military, not the Who? Who is? Who? Do you read, he is the president of the republic of U.S. and the commander-in-chief of the military, not the Pentagon? I have no idea what you're talking about. Whom? And why is that important to the conversation? Yes, I read all the time. I read a lot. I just read a book this morning, 336 pages. I just reviewed JFK and the links between the CIA and Alan Dulles and his assassination yesterday. That was 396 pages. I read probably 4,000 pages a week in news articles and collection for the show. I read all these comments. I read the recipe for when I cook dinner. I read a lot. What's your point? I don't understand. What does that matter? Fox News was raising the idea of him being speaker this morning as he was going into court. Okay. Donald Trump cannot be Speaker of the House. He is under federal indictment. You can look in the Constitution of the United States under Article 2 and you can read it yourself that in order to be Speaker, you cannot be under federal indictment. You cannot have any felonies. You cannot have any conspiracy. The same rules as it is on a president of the United States. The House has rules. Those rules are established by the House. They are different than the rules for presidency. They are different than the rules for the Supreme Court. They are different rules than the Attorney General. The House makes its own rules. And the rules of the House are anyone under federal indictment cannot be Speaker of the House. That's it. I need to look up the provision. Because at this point, I'm not going to get anyone to believe me until I just show you. Rule 26 of the GOP conference states, a member of the Republican leadership shall step aside if indicted for a felony for which a sentence of 2 or more years imprisonment may be imposed. The conference rules are voted on by all members in the November before each congressional session. There you go. Okay? No. The Rules Committee can't change that. The Rules Committee can't even decide on a speaker. And you're going to have them change the rules in mid-session? Why? He's running for president. Why on the earth would you want him as speaker? Why would the committee? Why? So you're going to tell me the party of law and order is going to circumvent its own rules to have a president who has 91 charges and indictments against him, whether you agree with them or not. I don't agree with any of them except for obstruction. But all the other ones I'm just laughing at. Doesn't matter. So you're going to have them change the rules, and you expect the uniparty, the hard right, the moderates, the Democrat moderates, the liberals, the progressives to agree to overturn a rule by a 2/3 majority because the filibuster is in place against that rule? And then you overall expect them to circumvent all of that in order to put Trump in as speaker. Right. Is Trump going to be president again? That's a big question. I don't think they'll let him be president again. Does he have a chance? Yeah. Otherwise, they wouldn't be trying so hard. If there was no chance for Donald Trump to be president, they wouldn't be working so hard to make sure he's not. But when you have the RNC that has done everything they can and the hardline GOP to ensure that he can't get into government again. And I just gave you a perfect example. That House rule was designed by the GOP specifically for Trump. No, it can't happen. They're not going to change that rule because they're the ones who put it in place. The active members of the House put that in place, so Trump couldn't be House Speaker. This is chess. This isn't checkers. Most of the ideas that you hear are floated for clicks or floated because something happened in order to stop it from happening. Can Donald Trump be president? Yes. Do I think? Okay. I'm going to give you the only based answer that nobody else will give you. Okay? Here it is. In 2008, and I've done this before, I'll do it again. Donald Trump in 2018 lost Michigan. 2020. Lost Michigan completely. Swing state. Wisconsin, South Carolina, Georgia, Nevada, Arizona, Colorado, all went, and Pennsylvania. 7 key swing states. Colorado was an 8th, but also one that they thought that maybe he could win. In 2018, in the midterms, those states showed a drop in overall support for GOP. And we lost seats in those states. In 2020, he lost those states, and it lost the election for him by 80,000 votes and 3 states. You want to break it down to anything you want? 80,000 votes, 3 states. That's really what Trump lost by. It doesn't matter about the 7 million popular vote. We always lose the popular vote. There's more Democrats than Republicans. 2022. 17 out of 17 Trump candidates, the only one who hasn't, 17 out of 18. 18 is Carrie Lake, and she still hasn't admitted defeat. So I got to give that to her that she's still contesting her election. 17 out of 18. But in all reality, 18 out of 18 Trump supporters in those key swing states lost. Majewski up in Ohio, you know, the stolen valor douchebag. Mehmet fucking Oz lost to Lurch. Herschel Walker in Georgia, that's the best we could find. Captain, I got my special badge. I'm an officer of the law. I got hit in the head too many times running the football. Herschel Walker. Okay, that's the bit. Those Trump candidates, woo-wee, they all lost. Mehmet Oz, I like to blow shit up. Pull. Give me a break. You're an abortion douche. Ooh, I like that effect. What just happened? Camera, duty. Is this, what was it, this? What? How did it zoom out like that? Whatever. Mehmet Oz. Nobody wanted Mehmet Oz. They had an African-American female Republican who supported Donald Trump. Poll numbers were good, but they put in Mehmet Oz. Why? Nobody still knows. Nobody knows. People want to know about the document scandal. They want to know about Stormy Daniels. They want to know about Russia. I want to know why the fuck Donald Trump supported Kevin McCarthy as speaker and why he put in Mehmet Oz. Those are my two questions. If Donald Trump was sitting in front of me, I'd be like, dude, I don't care about any of the other shit. I don't want to hear about impeachment. I don't want to hear about your goals. I want to know two things. Why did you put in Mehmet Oz in Pennsylvania and literally throw that entire election to Fetterman? Why? And why did you back up McCarthy as Speaker of the House? I gotta get that. How did that? See, because my camera has a feature now in the iPhone where if I move, it moves with me, which is great. But I love that zoom out effect. Here, I can just start doing. Okay. So those are the things I would ask Trump. Does he have a chance to win? Based upon those swing states, those 7 states, and the downward progression of them moving to more purple or more red, he doesn't have a path to victory. And I predicted 2020. I predicted all the freaking seats in 2022, minus one guy in Ohio. And I didn't say it was over. I said it's not looking good. But I'm the one that predicted Carrie Lake was going to lose before it even started. I'm the one that said that Michigan Whitmer was going to go ahead and win. I'm the one that said Kemp was going to get re-election and Stacey Abrams was going to get mopped. I'm the one that said that District 1 that Eli Crane was going to win against the establishment. I'm the one that told you Majewski was going to get mopped. I'm the one that told you that Dr. Mehmet Oz was going to get mopped. I'm the one that told you that Herschel Walker was going to get mopped. My predictions on that election were just freaking, I batted 1,000. I crushed that. Better than Charlie Kirk. I made Charlie Kirk look like a simpleton, and that guy's smart. Wicked smart. I respect Charlie Kirk a lot. But he was out there, Carrie Lake's going to win. Another drop's going to happen. I'm like, dude, I've seen the drop. There's no way. I've done the numbers. I've run the math. She's not going to win Maricopa. And you're not going to win Arizona unless you win Maricopa. It's a Democrat stronghold. I don't care what the trends were in 2016. It's not 2016 anymore. 2018, 2020 are not the same as 2016. And guess what? Carrie Lake lost by the exact number I said so. I had that down within 1,000 fucking votes, and everyone was on live. No, Matt, I see a path to victory. I'm like, dude, she's not going to win. Don't you remember? The most loyal fans who've been here will tell you that I was against everybody saying Carrie Lake was going to win. And they said there's not a chance. There's not a path to victory. No way. The people who were there remember. So I'm telling you right now, dude, I love that feature. I just set my coffee cup down. Hold on. Whatever. It's pretty cool when it happens. I'm just not going to start reacting to it. But there's not a path to victory for Trump. So it doesn't matter about the court cases. It doesn't matter about obstruction. It doesn't matter about stolen election. He doesn't have a path to victory in those 7 states, depending upon the trend over the last 5 years and the last 3 elections. And the numbers right now, the poll numbers in those states aren't any better. So if you're going to start embracing the African American vote, that it's stronger for Trump, and the Latino vote stronger for Trump, and women are more positive about Trump if Nikki Haley's on the ticket, and you're going to believe those polls, which you should, because primary polls are usually pretty fucking accurate. It's not the primaries you worry about. The general is not, because people go in their shell. People don't really start focusing on the presidential election until 3 months before the election. That's the truth. Most people like us, we're weird. So you get the truth except for the shadow vote, which is why they didn't understand what happened in 2016. They didn't understand why Trump won. Well, because people didn't want to admit. Because it was faux pas to like Trump back then too. There's not a path to victory. I have done the math. There is no path to victory. All right. All right, Mike. See if we can get you on here, buddy. See if we can get you on here. Mike Blankman, everybody. He's coming on. All right, Mike. What do you want to talk about, buddy? Good to see you, man. You look just like your Facebook profile picture. It's hilarious. Yeah. What do you want to talk about, Mike?
Going.
It's good, buddy. It's good. Real good.
All right.
Can't hear you, Mike. What do you want to talk about?
Hold on 1 second. Let me try to turn up my mic.
Okay.
All right. There we go. I don't know, man. Just kind of the stupid people thinking that this emergency broadcast system, like, I've heard all the stupid videos of the Q crap trying to say they're going to turn everybody into zombies or whatever bullshit, but like, I've heard the videos where they're trying to say the U.S. government is supposed to tell you what they're supposed to do before they do it to you. It's like, that's the biggest load of bullshit I've ever heard.
Yeah, otherwise we wouldn't have been in the military.
Yeah, I mean, I've done bad things on behalf of the U.S. government, and we don't have to tell anybody what we're doing.
Yeah, I didn't know I was getting anthrax when they did it. Did you know you were getting anthrax when you did it?
Luckily, it was a choice for me, and I said no.
Oh, you got a choice? Shit, they didn't give us a choice. They just...
Well, man, every time it came around, it was a choice for me. It was like they'd make it mandatory, and then they'd back off and say it was a choice. So every time it came around for it being due, it was a choice for me. So I was like, fuck no.
Well, let me read this to you because JR responded in regards to the military code and Trump's commander-in-chief responsibilities. He says, indicts are political, not the Pentagon industrial complex. Military and Trump working in the background since he came down the escalator. Military asked him to run. 1,200 pages, the Defense Law War Manual, but 1776 Nation Derek Johnson explains in layman's terms. Too much stuff to catch you up to. I always love it when people want to educate me. I always love that.
Oh, yeah.
The real White House has been closed by tribunals. D.C. is 10-mile by 10-mile district owned by foreign entity. Bidenet is president of the defunct U.S. corporation. We are under military COG. Control and guidance? What is COG? Federal Reserve Central Bank IRS gone by Donald J. Trump's executive orders, which he owes. Tell me the executive orders that he wrote, please. Too much to catch you up on. Again. In addition, going around debt 21 trillion was paid off when he came out. Never 33 trillion. All has been written, heard, etc. True or not, this is only a little of the information going out there. DT was supposed to have an EAS. Maybe today when FEMA does this, they will grab the signal to do a reset to the quantum system.
The what?
I was just going to say that. No, JR, very few people have spoken with my voice, and I want to commend you, sir, on saying exactly what I was just going to say. What in the fuck are you talking about, bro? I don't know how to help you. They don't make a medicine that can help you. Blankman, say something, because I'm not looking to insult JR. I'm just not a clinical psychologist. I'm not the guy you want to talk to. Two guys you want to talk to, a shrink or a bartender. Both can help you equally. I'm not the guy. Mike, Help me out here.
I'm at a loss, Matt. Like, there are some very special people that believe some very stupid shit out there.
Continuity of government is COG. Why don't you just say continuity of government? Why do civilians always make acronyms when we already have enough acronyms already? How many acronyms do you know, Mike, from serving?
I can't even count.
Hundreds.
Thousands.
And that's in one branch. You put all the branches together, thousands. Just say continuity of government. Listen, this is what makes me sad, okay? You guys said the same shit in 2020. What's taking so long? If you own the military and you run the fake government and you're aware of all these things and the clone of Joe Biden's been installed and Hillary Clinton's a lizard and they're all eating androcrom, whatever, blood of children to stay youthful, and they're trafficking millions of kids and using them as cannibals, why don't you fucking do something about it? You have the military. What are you waiting for? We're collecting evidence. We're waiting for the right time. What? When your fucking Prozac kicks in? What are you waiting for? When you finally get some mental fucking help? I'm so sick and tired of you cures, you fucking people. You're making Republicans look stupid. Just stop associating yourself with conservatives. Just make up a new party, okay? Join Diametics with L. Ron Hubbard. Do anything other than represent conservatives anymore. For the love of God, please.
They could join the Mormon Church, too.
God, dude, Tom Cruise is waiting for you. The space alien's going to come down and take you away. You guys watch too much WWF. You think that Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan, okay, actually had some sort of tension in real life. You believe that Randy Macho Man Savage and Coco Beware are actually real people and that wrestling is real. This is all entertainment for you. You can't possibly believe this shit. How do you believe this stuff? Help me understand.
I have no idea how anybody can believe this crap. Like, it's just retarded. I tried to watch. Sorry, I said the R word. I know. But I've tried to read the Q posts, and it was just beyond stupid to me because I was like, "What are these people talking about?"
Well, JR just said, "I don't need help, but you are not woke." You're fucking right. I'm not woke. I'm not woke at all. That's it. Thank you. That's the nicest thing anyone has ever said to me. No, you're woke, dude. And then he says, "You are in the military." Not anymore, brother. Not anymore.
I was. But guess what? When I was in the military, I looked just like this when I was fighting wars.
Yeah, it's amazing. People are like, when did you start growing the beard? I'm like, when I was 18. When did you lose it? Never.
Yeah. The Army.
You can't find a picture of me without a beard.
All the time.
Listen, JR, I'm not trying to insult you. And I understand that you want to believe certain things, but brother, dude, there is no tribunal. There is no secret government, okay? This, unfortunately, this beautified lipstick pig is what we have. It is a bloated, masticated, wasteful cesspool of greed and death and destruction. And that's just the way our government is. And it's always been that way. Because if you think about the biggest problems in the United States history, the only solution for all of them have been war. That's the truth.
Yeah.
The government has done a lot of great things, and America has done a lot of great things. But the institution of government, its entire design and necessity is based on war. And we may be one of the youngest countries in the world, but we are also one of the most violent. Look at the time we have been here as a government and how many wars or conflicts we've been involved in. So for you to tell me that the military-industrial complex has been seized by Donald Trump, that they came to. Can I ask you a question? Mike and I were both in the military. We both did different things, but worked with some of the same people. His job was to heal them. My job was to give them the information on where to go and what to do and what to expect when they got there, and the most effective way to get in, get out without being seen. That was my job. Please tell us why in the 9 rings of hell would generals of the Joint Chiefs assigned by Obama go to a businessman who was endorsed by Snoop Dogg, Jesse Jackson, the Rainbow Coalition, and NBC to help overthrow a fractured government? And why would they ask him for his help? Just answer my question. And tell 2 members of the military why. I'll wait.
One thought for that. If there is this government, where is the funding coming from? Because there's only several pots of money, and they all legally have to be spent on whatever they're allotted for. So,
even clandestine operations. But here's JR's response. No, not the Pentagon complex. Former military and about 200 other countries. About 200? That's fairly specific. Which countries specifically and which military former members recruited Trump to run to overthrow the military-industrial complex that has taken over the U.S. government? Please also explain to me how the U.S. government paid off $23 trillion when in no time in U.S. history have we ever had liquid monies that were higher than $106 million in cash. Please explain that to me. Ever in U.S. history. Do you know Apple has more cash than the U.S. government and has for 20 years? The United States government doesn't run on cash. We run on credit. How did we pay it off? Where did the money come from? Was it the gold bullion that was dissolved? Was it the silver certificates? Was it when we had associated the American dollar with oil and the Arabs? Where do we get this money? Help me understand. Did they just not pay anything for a year and used all those things that the government creates and sells to go ahead and build up some revenue, to go ahead like you're buying a hockey team? Is that what we did? How did we do it?
We printed the money, Matt.
Yeah, that's not the way it works.
I know.
No, I know you know that. I'm telling them. That's not the way it works. We injected $6 million in money that didn't exist, and it almost destroyed the world fucking economy. $6 trillion we injected that didn't exist, that wasn't budgeted for, that was not real, and it almost destroyed the entire world economy. If you think that when the United States gets a cold, the world doesn't get the flu, you're not paying attention. If you think when the U.S. doesn't do well that all other countries aren't affected, they don't. $6 trillion almost destroyed the world economy, but $23 trillion we're going to pull out of our ass. Pay it off. I don't understand.
Quit making me laugh while I'm trying to drink coffee.
I just don't get it, dude. Anyway, Mike.
Coffee, it's rough.
We are only taking in $5 trillion, but spending $7 trillion. Cindy, look that up again. I'll give you the numbers. It's more than that.
$4 trillion we have like a $22 trillion economy,
yep.
But
yeah, it's more than that. It's like 27.
Taxes, right? That's 27.
Well, hold on a second. In 2023, we collected $3.97 trillion in revenue, which are taxes.
Damn phone.
In 2022, we collected $4.9 trillion collected in revenue. And overall GNP See, that's talking about overall net profit. But spend, there we go. Total outlier, 6.3 trillion, 4.9 trillion in total revenue in 2022. Total deficit surplus is showing it's so hard on this tiny map. I need my big screen. My eyes are going bad.
Eat more carrots.
It's not that, dude. I eat a shit ton of carrots. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find it for you. But overall, we have never collected the volume, Mike, that you're talking about. United States government versus deficit and overall debt and revenue are two different things. We don't collect 27 million a year and spend, or 27 trillion a year and spend 33 trillion, and then there's a 6 trillion deficit. That's not the way it works. The accumulated debt is what we spend over our overall budget and revenue intake annually, and it accumulates. So debt and revenue are two different things. I didn't think it was as low as 4.9 because it just said 6.7. What did Cindy say?
She said
we are now taking in 5 trillion but spending 7 trillion. So it's a little bit higher than that. 2023 predicted, what did I say, 6.9? It doesn't matter. The point is that we are overspending our budget by $2.2 trillion, which adds to the overall deficit because it's not annualized. This is over 10, 20, 30 years of debt without balancing the budget and taking in a surplus. So when people say that we're a $23 trillion a year country, it's not accurate.
Yeah.
The overall revenue that we take in versus our overall debt is insignificant because it's not 2.2 trillion to get to flat. We would have to go ahead and cut the budget from 6.9 and cut it down to 4.9 to have a $2 trillion surplus in order to go ahead and start making a dent on the $33.4 trillion we're currently in debt to. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And the only way to be able to do a cut like that would be to cut the almost $1 trillion a year we spend on military spending or defense. And
well, no, there's other programs you can do. There's a lot of other things you can do. I mean, but the point is that in order to cut, you have got to actually stop some of these programs that are not important to the overall spend of the United States. And some of that is in defense. There's no doubt. There's defense contracts that we've had for 30 years that we're paying on, and these defense contractors aren't delivering on these promises. And those need to be reneged on, and we need to stop paying those contractors.
Yeah.
We can look at the NEA. We can look at Social Security. We can look at the grants that we overall have to go ahead and sell. We loan ourselves money to pay Social Security. A lot of people think Social Security isn't paid by the government. That's bullshit. The windfall in Social Security is actually done and sold as debt against Social Security, and we use taxes to go ahead and pay off that debt.
Yeah, because they borrowed against Social Security.
They borrow it against bonds. They've created bonds that they borrow against, and then they go ahead and pay taxes. So they're not directly taking tax revenue and shoving it into Social Security. They're lending their money themselves with bonds and then paying those bonds off. It's robbing Peter to pay Paul. Anyway,
yeah, and that's what, you can never really track all the money the government spends because all the different pots, and then they spend it back and forth amongst each other. Like my unit, every time we jumped out of an airplane, we had to pay the Air Force for the fuel. Like, make that make sense. We're all under the Department of Defense. I mean,
yeah. All right. Listen, man, I'm going to cut you loose. I'm going to wrap this up. I got to go. But I appreciate you calling and do it again.
Glenn, real quick.
Yeah.
Hey, Glenn, fuck you.
Oh, gosh. Get out of here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Blankman. I'm going to read up a couple more comments. JR, thanks for hanging in there. I know I made fun of you a little bit. I apologize. You got to understand, you seem like a nice guy. You seem like a guy that cares. So I apologize if I was rude to you. I deal with a lot of Qers, and most of them are just completely insane. You at least are sticking around. So I want to apologize for saying what I said. That wasn't the right thing to say. I just get upset because it just frustrates me that you believe this type of stuff. That's all. You said it's out there this past weekend regarding the debt paid when Trump came in, a letter and the $21 trillion check. EO's we have to look at, but dude, we don't have that money. Do you understand? Okay. I can't explain it to you when two people just told you what our overall annualized revenue is. The United States government does not have a cash surplus. We don't have $23 trillion anywhere. You could print all day long. Do you understand how much $1 trillion is in physical cash? Do you have any concept? Do you know how much money is actually circulating in the United States right now? These are things you should look up. Just look up how much cash is circulated in the United States right now. In fact, I'm going to do it for you. Right now, $2.3 trillion in cash and change is circulated in the United States right now. $2.3 trillion. You're telling me 10 times that amount has been printed and was paid. Or you're saying they wrote a check. Even if they wrote a check, then you're talking digital currency. Yeah, it's just, dude, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. You got to believe what you want to believe. I respect that, and I don't know what else to tell you. All right, everybody. Let's get out of here. Folks, thanks for watching. Appreciate you. I know it was a long one today. We'll see you guys tonight at 8:30 or 8 o'clock. Olivia and I will be on, and we'll see you then. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. I'm going to get out of here. I got a lot to go take care of. Thanks for watching tonight. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for listening. JR, no hard feelings. We'll talk to you guys soon. See ya.